calls. We'll get to a lot of stuff coming up. But right now, we're going to get to an old buddy. A new project called the Three Tremors. You know him. Yeah, here on Volume. We'll get to some rock news with Ed. We'll get to your phone calls. We'll get to a lot of stuff coming up. But right now, we're going to get to an old buddy who has a new project called the Three Tremors. You know him best probably as the former lead singer of Judas Priest. Made a couple real good albums with that band too, and a couple live records and a live concert film as well. He is Mr. Tim Ripper Owens. What's going on, brother?
Yes, Eddie. Listen, I've been the former lead singer of everybody.
You have. The laundry list is extensive. Yngwie Malmsteen, Iced Earth. What am I forgetting?
I don't know. I forget them now because I've gotten older, but I'm the kid that lives the dream, man. I think I've been on stage with everybody I've grown up idolizing and listening to, and I'm pretty lucky, man.
That's a great way to look at that, though, Tim. That most people would say, wow, man, this didn't stick or that didn't stick. You look at it as like, hey, it's been great to be able to sing with so many people and do so many different things.
Well, listen, Eddie, if I was still in Judas Priest, I wouldn't have been able to do everything that I've done, and it's been kind of amazing, and even this record wouldn't be, the Three Tremors record wouldn't have happened, and Iced Earth, and just everything I've done. So I look at it as I have a lot more opportunity. I do a lot more things now, but then again, I still all the time I get calls from people that I love and other musicians that I love, and I get to do other things. So I'm pretty lucky.
And of course, we shouldn't forget the Dio Disciples, which Tim is also a part of. I mean, there's so many things that you've got going on. The Priest thing, we're going to talk about Three Tremors because I know that's what you want to, that's what's going on now, and there's a tour and all that. But the Priest thing, I was saying, I don't know if you were listening before, but you came on with me, but I was talking about this. When the whole Priest thing happened with you and them finding you the way they did and grabbing you from a band that was tributing Judas Priest and all that, that was like a big deal at the time. It was a big story. It was unique. It was like, wow. I mean, we all know the film Rockstar, loosely based on that, but it's almost become the norm now, right? Like, obviously, Journey went that route. It's kind of more of an accepted thing, but you were like one of the first, if I'm not mistaken, that really was found that way. Am I off on that, or that's the way I feel about it?
I don't know for sure. I know one thing. It was a lot different, and there wasn't a lot, because remember, we didn't have YouTube when I made Judas Priest, and it wasn't easy access to just turn on something and find somebody. I mean, you had to get a cassette tape or a videotape, or that, with me, I wasn't in the Judas Priest tribute band for over a year when I made them, but they got a videotape for my very last show, and, got it to Scott Travis got it to the band. Nowadays people can go on YouTube and go, holy crap, this person is unbelievable, and he's a perfect fit. So I think that's what makes my story, crazier and funnier, because, even luckier. Like I said, it was really lucky because of them getting the videotape, because there wasn't, pre-YouTube. I tell people that now, my kids or my girlfriend's kids, whoever, and they're like, I don't even, what do you mean pre-YouTube? What are you talking about? Cassette tapes? What is that? So
that's a great point, Tim. And I didn't realize that, because time flies by so fast, man, and you completely forget stuff like that. And you think, when you're our age, you remember there was times before the internet and before YouTube and before cell phones. But what year was that when that first was happening with you with Priest? Was it like 95, 94? What year was that going on?
I'll tell you what, I got the call beginning of 96, like January, February of 96 when I got the first call. And then, then I went out there and auditioned, and I think it wasn't even, then I started recording a little bit, and I think it might have been released like June or July of 96 that they found the singer. So, but it was right then, and the Judas Priest tribute band started because
And back then, when you were, so they found you. It was, they were looking at what, a VHS. I mean, there was no. My timeline is bad as far as when all the digital and online stuff started, but they're listening to at that point. That's still what, VHS and cassettes that are going around of you.
Yeah, I mean there was DVD or CDs out at the time, but cassettes,
Right, of course.
when I came back from recording the Judas Priest stuff, and I would come back with the demos, I would come back from England with it on cassette tapes. I'd have a box full of cassette tapes from me working on the records, you know. So there wasn't emailing me the lyrics at the time, right when I made it. You know, it was really early stages of all that, you know. And you know, now I record in my studio at my house, and I was recording all morning the project I'm doing. I record everything, you know, sitting in my studio or standing in my studio, and then emailing the stuff. Back then, there was none of that, so that was it. Last show, somebody videotaped it, and I quit the band, and you know, I quit the Judas Priest tribute band, and yeah, so that was it. They got the tape and called me right away.
Man, it's amazing. Yeah, you forget about that, and now you're 100% right. That's probably the emergence of this being more common now. People finding members in bands, because of the fact that it's a completely different thing than it was for you. You literally can log on and click around and look at 100 people right now doing a tribute of any band. It's a completely different world.
Just musicians, period. I mean, my bands, when I tour the world solo, I use different bands in different countries, and they have gotten so good that I always thinking probably the next time I go back, I'm not going to have them anymore because someone else is going to pick them up. And I'm telling you, that's the same with the Three Tremors. These guys are so good in the Three Tremors. I mean, it's the guys from Cage, but they're so good that, you know, deep down inside, I think somebody's going to see them on YouTube and someone's going to steal them, you know, because that's how it is now. I mean, I tell people that all the time to musicians. I said, man, young musicians, whoever, when you go on stage, do your best because it gets on YouTube. And if you don't, you know, you don't know what your career path could be if one person sees you on YouTube playing now. I mean, it could totally change.
And the opposite is true. If you suck and you can't sing and you can't play and you sound like shit, then that goes on YouTube too, and that works against you as well. I've seen that firsthand.
Exactly right. You don't want to pull a Stephen Pearcy, do you?
Right. I mean, for Pearcy, it's been blown. But I'll tell you what, Tim. There's a very, 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 very well-known singer in a major rock band. I won't say it on the air just in case he doesn't want it. And he was legitimately really sick and could not sing, and really struggling to try to sing. And I felt bad for him. And I was talking to him before a major performance, and he said to me, he goes, "I can't do it." He said, I'm sick. I've lost my voice. Something's going on." And I said, "You going to give it a go?" And he goes, "You know what? I'll never forget it." He said to me, "You know what? I would go out there and give it a go." He said, "But the reason why I'm not is because," he said, "I go out there sounding like shit, croaking the words. Every single person has their phone up, filming it. It's on YouTube, and it's going to be all about, look, this guy can't sing anymore." And then he can sing, but he was sick. He was having a bad night, so he preferred to not even give it a shot. Where he said, if it wasn't for that element, even if he went out there and couldn't get there after a song and said, "Sorry, I can't do it," but he's just like, because of that, he goes, it's the world we're in now.
Well, you're 100% right, and I jokingly said Stephen, because you know that I was on your show with Stephen, and I'm friends with Stephen, but his was different. That he took some pills, supposedly, whatever. That was his own actions doing something.
Right, totally.
It is a bad thing when you lose your voice. There's two things that can happen, and that singer was 100% right. It is going to get up there, and people's going to blame you and say you suck or whatever. And, he probably takes care of his voice. I totally take care of my voice. I do anything I can. But you also can damage your voice. When you even posted what the people are asking me, and then they just posted the things. But that's just the way it is, and that's what it is with social media. I mean, your song is on YouTube before you're even off stage. So, even if you say something, I've said stupid things. I have a tendency to put my foot in my mouth quite a bit. Even in this interview, I already did once. And it's not when I said don't do Stephen Piercy. Now that'll be the headline for Blabbermouth because that's what they do.
Yeah, but anybody know? Look, I love Steven too, and everybody knows, and he'll be the first. I mean, that was epically bad and unfortunate and sad. And in a case like that, you only hope that the guy got help and is sober and healthy. I love Steven. You love Steven, but yeah, I mean, no, I know that's ridiculous. I mean, you can't. That happens to me all the time, Tim, with this radio show. And I just had a conversation with someone the other day about it. Is like, and with you do what I do, you just live with that, and you hope people understand the truth because people are going to isolate always the stuff that becomes the clickbait. And you know how many times I've done interviews or I've just said stuff on this show that people will just take that and post it as a standalone thing as a clip on YouTube without ever hearing the context of how it was really said and what I said before or after. If I say something 90% positive about somebody, but the 10% is the other issue, the 10% is what goes on YouTube. The 90% is cut out. So we all know that. Hopefully people, you can only hope people have enough common sense to know that's the internet these days and to try to read through that shit.
Yeah, I love it. I love doing it. I love, poking the bear and saying things. And, I talk truths and do it. And that's, it's pretty funny, though. But it's funny how you just see things get twisted. Next thing you know, it's like, and I'll tell you, I've been fortunate with Judas Priest. Obviously lately it's been, Tim isn't happy they don't play his songs. Well, it's because I keep getting asked that question. What am I supposed to say? No, I think it's fantastic. You know what I mean? It's not that I bring it up or I harp on it because I got my own songs to play. I got 3 Charred Walls of the Damn CDs. I got Ice Thirst CDs, Ingve CDs, solo CDs. I mean, I got them Beyond Fear, Three Tremors, Spirits of Fire coming out. I got so much stuff that I don't have to worry about Judas Priest anymore. But people always say, they don't play your stuff. Well, of course I'd love them to play my stuff. But that becomes the main focus, right? It's like Ripper's unhappy that Priest doesn't play his stuff. And it's like, well, I'm also unhappy that I left a couple of my jackets in my garment bag in the sun. I'm also unhappy that, it's just, it is funny. And that's the whole thing with the technology and all that stuff. But it's great. I mean, listen, I love it. I sing for bands, music, and material all over the world all the time. I'm doing one right now for a band in Portugal, and I love to do these things. And that's the same thing with this Three Tremors thing, man. That's how it started. And that's why it's great to have the opportunities to do it. And social media does it. I love half the stuff. Listen, I don't have any tapes or recordings of me at home hardly. So if I ever need to refresh my memory, I go to YouTube.
Well, me too. I love the fact that I hear people all the time say, I hear all your stuff on YouTube, and it's like all the interviews that I do, the one we're doing right now, all of these interviews, I used to, for years, I used to record and I still get an archive at the end of my producer Ed or before Alex will record everything for me and give me a giant book of CDs of everything, which I appreciate because that's still how I like to have an archive. But I used to record it and keep it all the time. But yeah, now knowing that pretty much anything I say or any interview I did in the YouTube era, I can usually look it up and say, oh yeah, there it is. I can find it. So it's almost like, yeah, somebody's doing the work for you and it's out there for all time.
It's great. And I love today, or yesterday when we were going to do the interview, so I typed in Google, Ripper and Eddie Trunk photos, so I could find, because, I got to go back through some of our photos. We don't even, they're old photos. We don't even have, so I'm finding photos of us from the first Priest, thing. And,
oh, yeah.
It's classic.
It's classic because I was fat as a house. I'm sure. I mean, I was double fat at that time. I know for a fact. But secondly, I was just talking about this, and trust me, we're going to talk about Three Tremors because I love talking to you because I love you and I are the same. We tell it like it is. We speak honestly. We let it fly. But we're going to get all the Three Tremors stuff in. But I was talking about this the other day. The time you got the gig, it might have been Demolition. It might not have been Jugulator. For Demolition, you guys came into my radio studio in New York at WNEW, and I filmed it. And that film is there somewhere. My friend shot the whole thing, and I got photos of it. And I think that was just before you guys played Roseland in New York. And there's so many
Yeah.
memories. And to me, that doesn't seem like that long ago. And what is it? 20 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. 2001, that one came out though, or no? Yeah, I think somewhere in there. I can't remember. Yeah, I think we brought in some Heineken on that one too. I don't remember very many interviews, but I always remember coming to your place, and I remember the little side room there, and there was
Yeah.
some fans and friends there, and we had some Heineken we brought in. And it was kind of a good time. The band, we never did things like that. We come and do your interview and do your place, and it was a good time.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It's great memories. I got to find that video somewhere. It'll be a trip. But yeah, we've Tim and I've got a longer history than even I realized because it has gone back really for quite a while. Hey, Bud, can I put you on hold through a break and come back and we can talk about Three Tremors and some other stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll put Tim on hold right now, and we'll come back. More great conversation coming up with Tim Ripper Owens. The newest project he has is called the Three Tremors. I want to talk a little bit about that. He's got tour dates with it, a record coming, and also a few other things on the Priest stuff and some of the other things that he's done. So we got more with Ripper on the way. It's Eddie Trunk. This is Trunk Nation. And we're back. Eddie Trunk here. Trunk Nation, Sirius XM 106 volume, talking rock with you. Every day, live 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The replay, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. On demand anytime you want on the Sirius XM app. Do not forget, if you're in Southern California, be sure to come out 1 week from tonight. The show will be live in the 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific, a 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern window that night for those listening. And you can come on out and watch it as we broadcast live from the Rainbow. The next Trunk Nation LA Invasion is a week from tonight. Free to all to come by the Rainbow. Geezer Butler will be there. Matt Sorum will be there. Frankie Perez will be there. Other guests to be announced as we broadcast live the 5th and first LA Invasion of 2019 from the patio of the Rainbow 1 week from tonight. Let's get back to the phone and talking to my good buddy Tim Ripper Owens, who joins us. We're going to talk about his new project, the Three Tremors, in a second. But Tim, one last thing on Priest.
Yeah.
What is, when you look back at your time in that band, as I mentioned, 2 studio records, 2 live records, a live DVD, but the whole time, the recording, the shows, the stuff that you did, the time you spent, what would be, do you have a personal highlight? Is there a moment when you look back at the time that you were there that you would say that was the best part, that was the highlight, that's the thing I remember the most?
Man, listen, it was a fantastic time. I mean, there's such great guys, you know that. I think one thing probably going to the Grammys, being nominated for a Grammy for Bullet Train, and going to the Grammys on the first record I did with Judas Priest was pretty amazing, So, but I actually I think my personal experience with him, I think the personal time off stage, hanging out with Glenn at Glenn's house, and just all of that. I think really, I mean, going to dinner, hitting the golf course, whatever it may be. I think we had a great friendship, I mean, and we still do, of course, but as all the bands up to that point, we just really, they treated me great, it was, I think that's the thing I miss the most about Judas Priest. Really, is just hanging out with the guys. I mean, financially, everything in my career, making my music, creativity, financial aspect, everything's better now in my career than it's ever been. But that experience is irreplaceable that I spent with them, just the time and hanging out with them.
And then on the flip side of that, there are people that have walked into enormous shoes as replacement members. I have friends that, being a big UFO fan, I have friends that told me that they would go see UFO when Michael Schenker was first replaced, and people would just stand there and flip him the bird the whole time. William Duvall, who replaced Lane Staley and Alice in Chains, he told me not too long ago that he still gets a chance. There's no Chains without Lane. Adam Lambert, who is singing in Queen right now, I went to see them, and he basically does a disclaimer 2 songs in and says to the crowd, "Yeah, I know I'm not Freddie." So for you took that on the chin. You were the guy that had to walk into that situation. What kind of stuff did you endure? What was the worst for you having to be the guy that replaced Halford? Did you have, is there one thing, even if it's funny, or the one thing that was so over the top that stands out where, you caught shit?
Well, I didn't have too bad. It wasn't that bad. I had the same thing. I mean, the great Ronnie Dio used to tell me the stories about obviously coming into Black Sabbath and having the whole crowd flipping him off and yelling stuff when he was in Black Sabbath. And this is one of the best musicians and singers and songwriters that I've in my lifetime. But I do remember this one great one. I'd go to New Orleans. Every time I went there, we played a House of Blues, and there was this 2-3 guys that stand in the front, couple rows back, jean jackets on, long blonde hair, and they would turn their backs and flip me off, or they would flip me off looking at me. They would just have their fingers up, and 2-3 times I played there, 3 times. The last time I played there, they were doing it. We went into Diamonds and Rust. I got to the end. I hit those high notes, and their fingers and their hands finally went down out of the whole time, And to be honest, it wasn't much longer. I was out of the band, so it's even funnier that I finally won somebody over and got fired. And so I'm like, well, damn. So, but that was the one thing. But people weren't going to accept it. I mean, listen, I was as big as Judas Priest fan as anybody, and I got it. But I also knew that I could sing, and I would sing songs, and I wasn't a Rob clone, and I gave it my own thing, and I would give the old classics justice. But I got it because you're not talking about a normal frontman of a band. You're talking about Rob Halford. So it's a guy that has been the style and things that he was the metal god. So I understood it. I just wanted people to just always give me a chance. And I actually felt like I did. I always felt even welcomed by the fans. I think especially when they came to the concert. My thing was they came to the concert wanting to hate me. And most of the time, I don't think they left hating me, so that was the cool thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, you knew going in how rough it would be, but and you're right. You did your own thing. You brought your own thing to it while still respecting the legacy of the band. I mean, I thought you handled it really well. I mean, I knew it had to be tough in interviews and stuff at the time, especially early on, but it was definitely, I mean, I still, there's still stuff on those records that you made. I really feel are real good songs as well, and I know you're frustrated that they don't get a little more attention that they should. I know that's as you mentioned before, that's come out a little bit.
It does frustrate me, but I get more frustrated when the fans tell me that they don't see him or they're not played. I'm fine with it. I play them live. Here's the part. If you want to hear the songs played live, Jugulator, Cathedral Spires, Hell is Home, Bloodsuckers, Bloodstains, you can just come to one of my solo shows because I'll be playing them.
What do you make, last thing on Priest, and we'll get to Three Tremors, what do you make on what's going on with Priest now? I mean, you talk about the time you were there, you talk about, obviously, Glenn and KK, and I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's horrible what's gone on with Glenn, and at most of the shows he is not part of them and can't play, and obviously KK has been gone now for a while. What do you make of where the band's at right now?
Well, I think, first off, I think Rob's probably singing better now than he has a long, long time. He sounds absolutely phenomenal. And it's great to hear some of these classic songs that he's singing on stage. And, that's a great thing, Maybe if that wasn't the same, it would be different. You know what? It's unfortunate with Glenn because listen, he was the life of the party, man. I imagine he still is. I don't think that's going to change. And he's an amazing guy, amazing talent. But I think if Glenn said no more Judas Priest, there would be no more Judas Priest. That's my thinking on it. mean, he can get up there every now and then. There's nothing more that he would want to do than get on stage. Richie's a great guy, fantastic player. You know, in a perfect world, Glenn would, if he's not going to be playing, it'd be awesome to see Glenn or Ken. It'd be awesome to see KK and Richie up there at the same time, because Richie's more of a Glenn style player, anyways. Obviously, that's not going to happen now since the book, probably. But listen, it is what it is. They're doing some great concerts. Probably having some of the biggest crowds now than they have had in a long time. The new record was great, and they can continue to play. I mean, I guess it's funny that I guess everybody else can be replaced in the band, and it's okay.
Well, that's
great, though. I think it's great, and I think it's the great thing about it is it's a blessing from Glenn to go, hey, let's get someone else to play and let's continue on. And like I said, I think if Rob's singing so good now, and he really is, and he looks good, and I think he feels good, and I think that's a big difference. I think that's why it's going to continue on, you know.
I mentioned that was the last thing on Priest, but you just put something in my head, and I promise this will be the last thing on Priest. You mentioned KK's book? What were your thoughts on it?
Well, it's funny. I got it, and I started to read it, then I left, and I forgot my book at home, and I just got back from Australia, and I forgot it. So I got to read it. Listen, it's great. If you want a book, you tell all. I was around. I know what Ken's talking about. So it's not like he's fabricating stuff. You know, he told it. People keep saying that's all he talks about. No, he's not. People are interviewing him and asking him about the book. He's answering the questions that people are asking him. It is what it is. I mean, he wasn't, I was there. I saw things happen. I saw how it ran. I saw how the band ran, and I'm not complaining about it. I was treated great, but I did see how it was running, and from what I see, he's not lying about stuff. He's just telling the truth. I mean, you get a guitar player that has another guitar player that has blonde hair and plays a flying V and wears Ken's clothes. They're going to say that. I mean, listen, they said I was a clone of Rob, where just because I wore leather, I looked nothing like him, and they sang different. But so, I mean, he just said that. I talked to Ken, and he's had nothing but great things to say about Richie and even the band. I mean, when I sat down with him a few months back, this is before the book was written, but he wasn't in the band. He had nothing. He spoke great about everybody, and especially Richie. So I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and you're right. As far as the press hits that you're going to get on that, anybody that's going to talk to him is going to, if you really read the book, it's not all that sort of stuff. It is about his childhood and growing up. I really enjoyed the book, and people should check it out. But of course, everybody is going to gravitate towards the dirt. That's what everybody's going to ask, and that's what's going to get extracted and show up online. And he's answered everything honestly from his perspective, and I give him credit for that. I like people that stand up and don't take the PC road and say how they feel. So I give him credit for doing that.
I'm afraid to do a book because it might be boring, but I probably have some good stuff to talk about. I'm afraid I'll get in trouble by talking about it. So.
All right. Well, speaking of stuff to talk about, before I run out of time here, let's talk about the Three Tremors. Now, when I first heard the Three Tremors were coming and it was announced, the first time I ever heard about the Three Tremors was like 20 years ago. The Three Tremors were being thrown around as a rumored project with Bruce Dickinson, Halford, and Jeff Tate. And then all of a sudden I hear about a Three Tremors, and it's you. So tell me about this, and was it inspired by that? Did that have any connection to this? Because any metal fan knows that was like a rumored supergroup sort of thing about 20 years ago. So did you just take the name? What's going on?
Well, this was Sean Peck. It's his brainchild, and Sean.
Tell me about the other two guys in the band, Tim, first, because people may not know them.
Well, Sean's in the band Cage, which is a great metal band and power metal band with the Priest influences. Denner Sherman, he did a record, the guys from Fates Warning, he sang with that. And I know he did some stuff with Ross the Boss. And, he's been around, and we met years them into festivals back in the day too when I was in Priest. So these guys are pure metal. This is a pure metal singing. You know, if you like pure metal, it's high notes and power, and that's what this is. This is in your face. Sean called me one day. You know, I did a lot of, like, went to Europe. I did a metal singers tour with Udo and Blaze Bailey, you know, and Mike Viscara. So, you know, I've been doing this, and I did a little run of shows with Jeff Tate and Blaze Bailey. But this one was, let's make a record. It wasn't let's go tour on our back catalog or go sing other songs. Sean said, let's make a record. No name at the time, though. Let's make a record, get three of us together, and do it. And I said, you know what? I think it sounds great, you know. And then he said, what about the Three Tremors name? You know, listen, honestly, it was a name that was, like you said, it's almost like the legend. It's a legend that we're actually bringing to life because no one else did. They just said, let's call something. I mean, you know, maybe somebody had the name Bagel before they actually made the bagel. I mean, who knows? I said, do it. I don't care. And listen, if they gave us any grief, I mean, Sean Peck owns the name. He got it. It didn't have, no one even owned the name. So what?
That's what I'm surprised about. I was surprised it was available because that had been knocking around for 20 years.
Yeah. So we just said, let's do it. And you know what? If they would have said right away out the gate, no, we don't think it's right. We would have changed it. You know, we would have changed it to 2+1 Tremors, and then it would have been okay. But listen, I think it was a cool idea. You get a little more press. People either don't like it or like it, but the name. But I think it was a great idea. And listen, it was fun. He started sending me these songs. Sean did. I'm like, these are great because it's a pure metal record. I have 3 records coming out. One, Spirits of Fire with Chris Caffrey, and that's like a Judas Priest meets Sabotage. And I have another one called A New Revenge with Kerry Kelly and James Kotek, and that's like a straightforward kind of hard rocking record. And this one is pure metal, man. This is the metal fans that want to hear this kind of stuff are going to just love this because it is in your face, screaming metal.
Well, yeah, it is, and there's some videos and some content online. The album comes out January 18th, and you're going to get ready to go out on tour. That tour starts February 14th in Seattle, and at the moment ends on March 11th in Pittsburgh. And when you guys go out now, are you going to be playing material from your respective bands as well as what's on this record, or how are you handling that?
Yeah, we did a tour in Europe already. We did 17 shows over there, Cyprus, Israel, Greece, you know, all through Europe. And, you know, we throw a couple classics in there. We do Scream Machine from Beyond Fear. We'll throw maybe a Painkiller in there. Maybe the Sentinel. We'll throw a Cage song in there, a Jack Panzer song. We kind of throw a couple things in there and have some fun, but we play every song from the record. There's 12 songs in there. I think it's 12. I can't remember, but we play everything from the record. It's you might not know it, but that's what you're gonna get. And you know, this America tour is gonna be awesome. And like I said, you can go to our website or the Facebook pages. We're all out there and check us out. Check all the information out, you know. But yeah, we're going to be everywhere. New York, you know, it's going to be fun to get back to Poughkeepsie. I think we're there on the 1st, so it's going to be a good time.
The website is the3tremors.com. Everything's spelled out. The3tremors.com, and you can see the dates there. And the visual is great. You guys, I'm looking at the photo of the. I don't know if it's the album cover or what it is because I'm looking at it online, but. The three of you, like you in the very Man-O-War-esque, you in the middle with the sword in your hand and all that.
Yeah. Except I'm wearing clothes. Remember, we didn't look nearly as good at loincloths, so I said I'm not. It is. You know, it's that Kiss Destroyer kind of comic book thing. That even plays into the hands. The artwork, the T-shirts, everything we have as merchandise. It just is the nod to like old school, man. I mean, it is really cool. I mean, we have great stuff, and yeah, it's a great CD. And I mean, I'd say there's screaming high notes, but I just mean it's in your face. Melody, it's a great record, and that's the thing. It's all like you said, the Three Tremors, but also the Ripper Owens sites, the Facebook pages, the Twitter. Instagrams, all that stuff is going to be pushing us like crazy. So it's great stuff.
All right, well, everybody check it out. It's out on January 18th, the Three Tremors, and it's Tim Ripper Owens, who has been my guest here, along with Sean Peck and Harry Conklin. And will you guys, when you guys do this, are you all three of you out singing the same time, or each does a moment and you come out together, or you're all out there the whole time together?
We're all out there together. That's what's even cool about it. We don't just come. I mean, we're out there sharing big stages, little stages, stepping on feet, whatever we need to do. But it's a show like that. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's us three. It's not one guy. It's us three doing it. So it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing show. Just be ready because there's not a lot of breaks and there's not a lot of downtime. It's just straight at you.
You're in New York City, March 4th, the Gramercy. You're in Jersey, closer to me, March 3rd in Clifton. Dingbats, I'm going to definitely try to come out and see you. West Hollywood at the Whiskey, February 18th. Again, go to the3tremors.com for all the information on the record, the tour dates, and where these guys are headed. It's always good catching up with you, brother, and I hope you and the family are well, and wish you a happy new year, and good luck with this. And you rattled off a couple other things you got going. I know you've always got things cooking and happening. I know Caffrey and those guys too, so it sounds like you got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe, and we'll keep an eye open for it.
You got speaking of Caffrey, I just talked to Jeff Plate on the phone, and he said to make sure you tell Eddie I said hi. So all us old school guys are all still hanging around.
Yeah, no, I'm one of them, man. So yeah, send my best to Jeff, and yeah, I'm one of them too, man. This is my 36th year. I just started doing this stuff, if you can believe it.
That's crazy because I'm only 34 years old, so that's even funnier.
Oh, really? So what? I met you when you were a fetus, or what was that?
Well, hey, at least I came out.
You're making me laugh. I got the worst flu. I got a cold. I'm coughing, and I'm going to hack up a lung here. You're killing me. Listen, brother, take care of yourself, all right? And I'll see you when you get to the New York, New Jersey area.
You got it, buddy. I'll see you there.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
All right, Eddie. All right, man.
See you, man.
Bye.
Tim Ripper Owens, everybody. Always good to talk to him. He was, by the way, he didn't say it on the air, but he was busy picking up his kids at school during all that. So there's the life of there's the real story. I should have mentioned it to him when he was on the air. Because he said that yesterday. It was perfect. He goes, it's perfect. That's right in the window I'm dealing with and picking up my kids. I said, do you want to do it another time later or whatever? He goes, no, it's great. That's life. That's reality. Everybody with these, visions of, fans have these visions of these guys that are had been in successful bands or whatever they're doing. And it's like, oh, they've got handlers and they must live in these houses. And no. I'm sure Tim is in a minivan right now. Oh, when I laugh, it make me cough and hack. I gotta stop. I'm sorry. I hate being sick like this. It's just killing me. It's lingering. Break. We'll come back.